Lumpur, Malaysia. And today we have reached the conclusion, or we'll reach the conclusion of the women's water polo competition. And a fascinating matchup first this morning to decide the destination of the gold medal. Heavy rain yesterday, heavy rain forecast today, but won't affect things here in the aquatic centre. It's a lot more sedate sport here yesterday with the synchronised swimming. It'll be a little bit more rough and tumble in the pool this morning. A little later on, the two bottom teams will battle it out for the bronze medal, Indonesia and Malaysia. But first up, it's Singapore against Thailand, both with a 100% record and both looking to pick up the gold medal. Early start for the women's water polo players this morning. Thailand have the youngest average age team in this competition. Won the gold medal back in 2015 when the average age was 17. It's a little bit higher than that at the moment. There's the Thailand coach Daniele Ferri. Very animated Italian. Watch out for some theatrics from him on the side of the pool this morning. Singapore so dominant in the men's water polo in the Southeast Asian Games. Bitterly disappointed the women to have lost out on the gold medal 2 years ago. At the moment, it's Thailand that hold the edge by virtue of their goal difference in this competition. So it's all to play for, gold medal at stake. Singapore have won 2 golds already in the early stages of the 29th Southeast Asian Games. Can the women's water polo team make it 3 and get the official start of the competition? The opening ceremony a little bit later on this evening, off to a perfect start. Here comes Thailand wearing the white caps. Very well supported here. And look out for the youngest member in their team, wearing number 9, ROJNAREE at just 14 years of age. The red and white of Singapore also well represented here this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the starting lineup. In white caps, the team from Singapore.
Introductions then of the two teams to the crowd.
CLEONA YINXUAN. Number 2, GINA, captain of the team. Number 3, Shona Simhuisian. Number 4, Naomi Yangxiaofei.
Plenty of these players played at the 2016 Asian Swimming Championships. And a large portion of the Singapore players competed in this competition 2 years ago.
Number 7, Angeline Diolini. Number 8,
looking to use that experience this morning to try and clinch the gold medal ahead of Thailand.
Number 9, Wen. Number 10, Melissa Uisihui. Number 11, Sharon Tan Hui Ning. Number 12, Wu Jikang. And number 13, Eunice Karina Fu Yumin.
All in their 20s, the Singapore lineup, so much more experienced than their Thai counterparts.
In blue caps, the team from Thailand. Introducing the players. In blue cap number 1, THAWANRAT WONGPAIROJ. down. Number 3, PRANISA NIKLAD.
Pranisa NIKLAD at 20 is one of the older members of the
Number 4,
Thailand team.
PRATCHAYAPORN. Move on. Number 5, THITRAT SOMYOS.
THITRAT SOMYOS, one of the number of 17-year-olds
PUENGPONGSAKUL.
in the side.
Number 7, NIRAWAN CHOOMPOOPUEN. Number 8, VARISTHA SARAIKARN, also the captain of the team.
Also played in 2015 for VARISTHA, the captain.
TAWEECHAI. Number 10, SAROCHA REWRUJIREK. Number 11, SINEENART SONTHIPAKDEE. Number 12, ALWANI SATHITHNON. Number 13, KHEMASIRI SIRIVEJJABANDH. And the coach for Thailand is Ferry. The referees for this match,
Ferry, the coach, who's also the coach of the men's team, has been in charge for some 4 years now. Two match officials, they're the men who have the difficult job of keeping an eye on what's going on in the pool.
The match delegate for this event, Mr. Katsumi Kuroda from Japan.
Majority of the action, of course, going on under the water, so there'll be plenty of fouls with exclusion for the
Ladies and gentlemen,
referees to administer.
please rise for the national anthem of both countries. First, the national anthem of Singapore. Next, the national anthem of Thailand.
Four days ago, both these sides got their campaigns underway with victories. One more for either side would take them to the gold medal. did have a close call in their opening game, Singapore against Indonesia. They were comfortably leading after the third quarter, but according to their coach, having scored 3 without reply in that third quarter, they got a little overexcited in the fourth and conceded 5 goals, which allowed Indonesia to close the gap. Singapore did end up winning it by 7 goals to 6, but they just started 1 or 2 alarm bells ringing, and the coach keen to make sure that they didn't make any mistakes in their second game against Malaysia, and they duly won that one 12-6. There is Lee Se-meng in the foreground. They look calm on the exterior, but I'm sure there'll be a few nerves around today with the gold medal at stake, especially after the disappointment of missing out in 2015 in their own country, of course, in Singapore, back for the 28th Asian Games 2 years ago, Southeast Asian Games rather, 2 years ago. The focus is very much on getting off to a positive start here. Thailand, for all their inexperience and young players, have been very well coached by Daniel Ferry, and they will know that they will pose a massive threat to his side today. Confirmation of the 13 players in the Singapore lineup. So plenty of experience, been together 2 or 3 years, some of these players now. YINXUAN, their number 9, scored in the win over Indonesia, as did Angeline Teo. And here's Daniele Ferri. It's very animated on the sidelines, likes to just play for the crowd a little bit as well, but he's a very experienced coach and one who's really helped turn around Thailand's fortunes in women's water polo, considering the age of the squad that he has available to him. There is the squad. ROJNAREE T at number 9, as we say, just 14 years of age, host of 17-year-olds in the starting lineup as well. The oldest player is SINEENART S, who's 25 years of age, a positive veteran in this young Thailand team. For the Thailand team in the blue caps, it will be Singapore in the white. Slightly shorter playing area in the women's water polo than in the men's. It's extended by about 10 metres in the men's competition, but it is a very physical sport, very high humidity, high temperature, and the water temperature kept high as well, so it really does sap the strength of these athletes. 4 8-minute quarters coming up. As you can see, we're just approaching the final minute of the warm-up here. These girls will be keen to get on with things now. What the training's been about for the last few months. Preparations for Malaysia. Preparations for winning a medal. And now they're guaranteed at least the silver, but the gold medal remains very much on the radar for both these teams. VARISTHA there, wearing number 8, will contest the opening swim-off. Couldn't be any closer at the top, but look at that superior goal difference for Thailand. A draw would be enough for them to win the gold, courtesy of a big 22-2 victory over Malaysia in their opening match. Singapore have conceded more goals, 12 in total, just 6 conceded by the Malaysians in their opening 2 matches. Melissa Uwe for Singapore for the swim-off. Here we go then. And we're underway. This will be a close one. It's going to be Singapore that get first possession of the ball. Interesting to see their offensive style, Singapore, having scored 12 against Malaysia in their last match. You will hear plenty of whistles in the background for minor infringements. More major fouls, of course, are punished with a 10-second exclusion. Shot clock ticking down, and in the end it was a rushed effort which turns the ball over for Thailand and a chance to mount their first attack. Have to get a shot in within 30 seconds of having the ball, otherwise it turns over to the other side. That will be a foul right in front of goal. And the first exclusion, so Singapore already a player down. GINA it is that will swim away for the penalty zone. And a chance for Thailand here with the extra player. This is where they have to make the extra player count. Lovely chip off the post. ALWANI trying the delicate little lob over the goalkeeper. Singapore back up to their full complement now. Thailand unable to take advantage of their opening extra player attack. THAWANRAT scored in the win over Indonesia. GINA back in the thick of it after that exclusion. Once again, Singapore unable to get a shot in on goal, so turning the ball back over to Thailand. Into centre once again, but better defending that time by Singapore. Didn't give the foul away. YINXUAN was just caught as she was swimming forward, so chance now for Singapore on the attack once again. Already 2 minutes gone inside this opening quarter. Trying to add some width to proceedings, Singapore. And YINXUAN waiting for the ball to come into the centre, but once again Singapore unable to test the Thailand goalkeeper. Didn't manage to find the net in their opening game against Indonesia. By comparison, Thailand have been very strong in the opening quarters. Scored 6 against the Malaysians, 5 against Indonesia, and there's a chance here, and it's the opening goal of the game for Thailand. KORNKARN gets the opener. Good strength in front of goal at centre. So the reaction there of the Singapore coach Lee Se-meng, who was very quickly on his feet. Not happy with the way that was defended in front of goal. Singapore just a little lacking in ideas going forward at the moment. You can see a shake of the head there from GINA, realising there was nothing on and turning the ball over once again to Thailand goalkeeper THAWANRAT. VARISTHA with a shot, comfortably saved by CLEONA. Almost halfway through this opening quarter. Tight affair, as you can imagine, with what's at stake with a gold medal. That's clumsily given away by THAWANRAT. Straight through to the goalkeeper once again, and Thailand with a chance to build quickly. Great chance off the inside of the post. They've just about got away with that one, Singapore. Just opened up nicely. It was a clever ball pushed out wide by ALWANI. Saved by the keeper. GINA once again, not for the first time, she's had to give the ball away, and it's been the most frustrating part of these opening few minutes for Singapore. They're just not managing to find any space in the pool at the right end of things. By Melissa Uwe. Once again, it's Thailand back on the offensive. Into centre, better defending that time. KORNKARN unable to gather the ball. And there's been a timeout called here. Singapore would have called that timeout. Lee Se-meng, side of trailing by 1-0. Changes being made as well. Multiple changes can be made, of course, during the course of the game. We just wanted to get a couple of fresh players in. 2:49 remaining in the first quarter. Daniel Ferry will be a much happier man, but slender lead at this early stage of the game. Off we go again then. Cheryl Tan for Singapore. Tussle going on in the centre. Yusei Kang trying to nick the ball away from THAWANRAT, the goalkeeper, but nothing doing as Thailand come forward once again. Great chance here, right in front of goal. It's a great save from Eunice Fu. A real chance for Thailand to extend their advantage, but better defending from Singapore, but making life a little bit difficult for themselves at the moment. Lynette Tan. Once again, Singapore opting to play the ball out wide, but it's just very congested through the centre. Shot clock has run down, unfortunately, before they could get an effort in on goal, and I think that will be the disappointing thing for Lee Se-meng, the amount of times his side have got forward and have had to concede possession with that 30-second clock ticking away. SAROCHA with a shot from long range, tipped away that time by Eunice Fu. You see some spectacular goals in water polo from distance. On that occasion, though, Eunice Fu, the goalkeeper, another of the silver medal winners from 2015, very much the favourites going into that competition. It was a shock when Thailand's young side managed to win the gold in Singapore 2 years ago. They've just got the edge here inside the final minute of the first quarter. It is a straightforward league stage, just 4 teams taking part in the women's water polo this year. The Philippines were involved 2 years ago, but opting not to enter a team in Malaysia. So Indonesia and Malaysia, the 2 teams at the bottom of the group. They will battle it out in the next match in the pool for the bronze medal. Can Singapore get themselves level before the end of the first quarter? There's a timeout being called by Thailand here with just 17 seconds to go on the clock. The clock in the top corner of your screen seems to have frozen itself on 1 minute, but there is 17 seconds to go. 2 timeouts per half allowed by either side. See how animated he gets, Daniele Ferri. Very passionate Italian. Knows what he wants from his team. Chance for Thailand here then maybe to get one more goal before the end of the first quarter. Inside the final 10 seconds, need to be quick. Foul by Melissa Ue. Still a chance here for Thailand. They have to get the shot away quickly though if they're to make it count. Good defending. 2 defenders in front of the goalkeeper. Unable to find a way through Varisa S, and the buzzer goes for the end of the first quarter. And as you would expect with so much at stake, a very tight first quarter. Singapore will be disappointed not to have really got any shots in on goal. Thailand just that one effort in that first quarter. And Varisa S from close range. And they have the edge after the first quarter by a 1-0. It's just a quick turnaround between the first and second quarters, a slightly longer extended break between quarters 2 and 3 at half time.
So just move the ball. If you move the ball faster, everything we shoot without goal, out goal free. Okay. For example, now the last action is under free roll set size, hold the ball down. No, for me now.
You see the coach there. We'll hear the coach rather telling the girls to move the ball quickly. Not too sure how many of the Thailand team understand English with an Italian accent. Got the translator on hand for those who aren't quite sure of the coach's instructions. No change of ends at the end of the first quarter, so Singapore will still be attacking the goal to the right-hand end of the pool. Newly built this National Aquatic Centre at Bukit Jalil, specifically for these Southeast Asian Games. Once again it will be Melissa Ue wearing number 10 in the centre of the goal there that will contest the opening swim-off. See what Singapore can offer up in the next 8 minutes. Once again it will be Singapore that gain control of the ball as they did in the first quarter. And 2 out of 2 with the swim-offs for Melissa Ue. And straight away it's the captain Gina Ko, looking to get her side back on level terms. Angeline Teo. Look for the corner. Might still be a chance here from close range. It's still Singapore with possession. Have to play the ball back outside that red zone. This is a great chance once again. Time has beaten them, so turnover to Thailand. It's a good ball to THITRAT, who went for the lob just across goal. I'm not too sure whether the keeper Eunice Fu didn't get a slight fingertip on that one. Coach trying to get the attention of Gina Ko, the captain.
Exclusion from the
So just the second exclusion foul of the match. ALWANI will swim away to the exclusion zone for 10 seconds. First chance Singapore have had with the extra player in the opening match. A couple of substitutions being made by Thailand as well to just cover that position. There's an exclusion. Will be an exclusion with substitutes, so once that exclusion is served, it will be KAITHIP SAETEAW that will come into play. This is where Singapore have to try and take advantage. GINA just spilled the ball as she was about to shoot, and foul given away by Thailand, so still possession here for Singapore. Into the centre, just too high. Couldn't quite get a hand on that one, Lynette Tan. Singapore now the player down, 20 seconds left on the shot clock this time. Again looking to make their player advantage count. It's only the second time they've had the opportunity. Didn't capitalise the first time, and they haven't capitalised the second either. Deflected away before it could reach Eunice Fu. Singapore's men's team will conclude their campaign tomorrow as they go in search of another gold medal. Perennial winners of the gold at the Southeast Asian Games. And women looking to put their name at the top of the table on this one. PRANISA NIKLAD. Still just that one goal scored in the first quarter separating the two teams. Not too sure that actually didn't hit Angelina Teo in the face before she managed to bring the ball under control. Lynette Tan will play that wide again. It'll be a foul by THITRAT SOMYOS. And once again that 30 seconds reached on the clock. If you have a shot and it's blocked and the ball comes back to you, the clock resets itself to 30 seconds. But if you don't manage to get a shot in of any sort, then the ball will turn over to the other side. And I think the number of turnovers we've seen from Singapore will be particularly disappointing to the coach so far. Haven't really tested THAWANRAT in the Thailand goal too much. That will be a foul with exclusion right in front of goal. A little over-exuberance from YINXUAN to try and get the ball back, and let's have a look under the water. And you can see crowded out by two players. So Singapore once again find themselves a player down. have been going wide before Eunice Fu managed to gather the ball. Good handling skills by Thailand so far. They've moved the ball around with a little bit of pace inside that danger area at the attacking end of the pool. Singapore have just been a little stop-start in the opening quarter and the 4.5 minutes or so we've played in the second quarter. Finally they get a shot in. Vanuatu equal to it though. Hasn't had too much to do so far, the goalkeeper. Another one of the 17-year-olds in the Thailand team. Just over 3 minutes to go in the first half then. Match to decide the gold medal in the women's water polo. And at the moment it's Thailand that are in pole position. Good save. Quick strike from ALWANI Sathon. It was Eunice Fu that was very quickly onto that loose ball. And they've got the goalkeeper to thank at the moment for not being further behind here. Singapore. THAWANRAT shaping for the shot. She's created an opening. Surely now they'll get the equaliser, and Singapore on level terms. And finally, with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half, they managed to get their first strike on the board. Cleverly done by THAWANRAT. Her and YINXUAN were the goal-scoring stars of the opening win over Indonesia. And she's got her first goal here in the final group game. Long-range shot, did that cross the line? Yes, it did cross the line. There is an umpire looking right along the goal line. It hit the underside of the crossbar and span back out again. Eunice Fu got a hand to it, but the line judge ruling that it had crossed the line just there before it just was flicked out by the goalkeeper. Possibly a little unfortunate. The way the ball skips up off the surface of the water, making it very difficult for the goalkeepers with those long-range shots. Thailand have the lead back once again. 1:49 left in the first half. "30 seconds up once again." Seems to go very quickly when you're in possession of the ball, that 30-second shot clock. Players are aware, you can see it ticking down in the top of the screen there. And the second seems to tick away all the more quickly when you're losing the game. Lob shot from distance from VARISTHA, but over the top. Singapore's opening game against Indonesia was a low-scoring affair in the first half, 2-1 to Singapore at the interval. Thailand's games have been much more clear-cut at the halfway stage. They led Malaysia 11-1 and Indonesia 7-2 at the break. So this is their closest game so far, as you would expect between the two top teams in the group. Inside the final minute then. Weak shot, which is quite comfortably gathered by Eunice Fu. Can Singapore get one more shot in? They've got just over 10 seconds to go at the end of the first half. GINA have to be quick. I think the clock's going to beat them here, and well, again Singapore failing to get the shot in on target. So the whistle goes to bring the first half to a close. Team will change ends for the third and fourth quarters.
After the second quarter, the score is Singapore 1 and 9-2.
Very close, contested battle here between these two. And at the halfway point in the penultimate group match in the women's water polo, but it is the match that will decide the gold medal. Singapore 1, Thailand 2. There'll be a 5-minute break between the second quarters. Lee Se-Meng with some work to do with his side in that interval break. Not too far behind at the moment, but need to be a little bit more inventive coming forward. See what they can do in the third quarter, which will begin in just a couple of minutes' time. Look at the quarter-by-quarter summary of the match so far. Just 3 goals in the game. Teams have changed ends. Thailand, wearing the blue caps, will attack the goal to the right-hand end of the pool in the third quarter. Colourful characters around the Southeast Asian Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, 50 seconds before start. Let's hear it for
Singapore have won both swim-offs so far. And they do the same again to gain first possession of the ball at the start of the second half. Change in the swim-off this time. Shauna Sim, number 3, will attempt to win the ball for Singapore. Should Thailand will be keen to put a little bit of distance between themselves and Singapore in this third quarter. Winner takes all, don't forget, for the gold medal. And we're underway. And Thailand win their first swim off at the beginning of the third quarter. 30 seconds now to try and get themselves a little bit of a cushion over their opponents. Early exclusion for Singapore, who'll make a substitution after the exclusion he served. Good save. Younis Fu just getting a fingertip to that one. In fact, she didn't get a fingertip, he came off the defender and flicked off the outside of the post. So good defending by Singapore, who back up to their full complement of 6 outfield players. SAETEAW. Scored Singapore's only goal so far. TAEO, that's into centre. Cheryl Tan, though, unable to gain possession. THAWANRAT, Thailand goalkeeper, making a fairly comfortable stop. Tan. Long range shot straight into the midriff of the goalkeeper, though. Smacked a little bit of desperation there from Tan. Things not going in front of goal the way Singapore would have liked so far. Just getting a little bit desperate to try and get themselves on the score sheet once again. Five seconds on the clock. Another lob shot attempted, pushed away by Younis Fu. To the hole once again, looking for Angeline Teo, but just that final pass as well has been a little bit misdirected at times from Singapore, which has made life difficult for their forwards. Thailand have looked much more composed in possession of the ball. Confidence about the way they move it across the pool. Into centre once again, and the shot from close range is in. Finally, there is a little bit of a 2-goal cushion here now for Thailand. Despite the fact there were 3 defenders around, KORNKARN still able to get the shot in and squeeze it into the corner beyond the outstretched arm of Younis Fu. Now there's work for Singapore to do. Wasted ball once again. Singapore were only to take the silver, it would be another bitter disappointment for them. Gina, the captain, talking before this tournament about looking to make up for the disappointment of 2 years ago. These two met in the final game to decide gold on that occasion as well. It was Thailand that came out on top by 5 goals to 4. Such a narrow margin to lose out on a gold medal, and it made things even more disappointing for Singapore on that occasion. This could be shaping up to be very similar. Chance here though for Wu Zhe Kang, but can't put a hand on the ball, although she has got possession. There's only a minute left on the shot clock, so it will turn over to Thailand anyway. Timeout called by Lee Se-meng in a bid to try and revive his side's flagging fortunes. Can't afford to let Thailand get too far ahead of them. Not too sure whether there's a little bit of tiredness creeps into the Singapore players in the tail end of matches. Conceded 5 in the final quarter against Indonesia. Against Malaysia, but they've yet to concede a goal. And that's the first goal rather they've conceded in this third quarter of any of their matches so far. They just seem to go from all or nothing in the third and fourth quarters as they look to close out matches. As the coach spotted something that can find a way through the strong Thailand defences. 2:54 left in the third quarter. Into centre again towards YINXUAN, but once again Thailand managing to win the ball back without conceding a foul, which is good discipline to have in this competition. Just see the tussle going on at centre there as Wu Zhe Kang tries to fend off PRATCHAYAPORN. ALWANI fires it high over the top. One or two nervous looks around on the faces of the Singapore players. As we said earlier, that clock seems to tick down mighty quickly when you're losing. Inside the final 10 to get the shot away. Angle's tight from out wide, it's hit the post. Hits the frame of the goal and bounces away. It's another chance for Singapore, which hasn't been taken from Angelina Teo. Rose well out of the water. Struck the angle. And another shot from Thailand this time. Rattles the goal frame. Fourth goal for Thailand now, and you just wonder what Singapore would have to offer in the final quarter in a bid to get back into this game. Winner takes all for the gold medal. Oh, it's a lovely lob, and it's another goal for Thailand. THITRAT SOMYOS, and you can see what that means now. The 3-goal cushion, is that making it an unassailable lead? I wonder. Things can turn around very quickly in this sport, but Singapore have been decidedly second best with what we've seen so far. They need to just up their game for the final moments. Otherwise, Singapore will be having to settle for the silver medal. They've got a chance now right at the end of the third quarter. Exclusion for the Thailand number 10, SAROCHA. Just can't seem to find any space in the centre. The white caps can't be beyond the blue caps inside that red zone, otherwise it would be a foul. And once again Singapore have failed to take advantage. Thailand back up to a full complement. 4 seconds left on the clock. It's highly unlikely that Kang will get a shot in. In fact, the clock does turn over. So 15 seconds left of the third quarter. Thailand in control of the final group game, of the penultimate group game rather, in the women's water polo. There's the buzzer for the end of the third quarter. 2 minutes now for Lee Sei-meng to try and get some wise words across to his team about how to approach this fourth quarter. Singapore 1, Thailand 4. The three-quarter mark of the match. Enough is enough, saying Lee Sei-meng. Now is the time. The time is 8 minutes. That's all they've got left. Daniela Ferry edging closer to a second successive Southeast Asian Games gold medal for his team. Final swim off then. The battle to decide the destination of the gold medal. This is where there'll be some tired limbs out there. One last effort for the final quarter. ROJNAREE, the 14-year-old, is on for Thailand in this final quarter. And Melissa Ue is back on the swim-off for Singapore this time. 1-2 in the first half. And it looks as though she'll get there again at the start of the fourth quarter. Two-hand Singapore possession. Cheryl Tan. Reminder, it will be Indonesia against Malaysia in the final match, as the tip away by THAWANRAT. The medal ceremony to follow that. VARISTHA. Good save by Eunice Fu. Last thing that Singapore would want is to concede another goal, and they're straight back on the offensive. It's a great ball by the goalkeeper to YINXUAN. Exclusion for THITRAT SOMYOS, scorer of that goal in the final quarter, so she will swim away for 10 seconds. There'll be a substitution when that's over, but Singapore have to try and make advantage now of this extra player. Angles a bit tight into centre, great chance, and they couldn't get the shot away with any great velocity from Lynette Tan. THAWANRAT Would have expected that one, I'm sure, to be floating over her, but she managed to make the save and gets her side back on the attack at the other end. Good save again, Eunice Fu. There'll be a frustrated man on the sidelines, Lee Se-meng. So just haven't taken their opportunities when they've had them. Melissa Ue. Now Cheryl Tan. Possession given away again, and a breakaway here for VARISTHA. Melissa Ue trying to get back. She needs to make sure she doesn't foul. It's a great chance for Thailand, but it is good defending. Great defending from Melissa Ue, who didn't give that one up and managed to prevent giving away the foul in front of goal. Had she fouled there, it would almost certainly have been a 3-metre penalty and potentially game over for Thailand, for Singapore rather. Lee Se-meng calls a timeout. Look at that breakaway a moment or so ago. VARISTHA, the captain. Melissa Ue refusing to give that ball up. 26 years of age, Melissa Ue played at the Asian Swimming Championships last year. Certainly be a highlight of the early careers for some of the Thailand players if they were to clinch the goal here. So that host of 17-year-olds, and ROJNAREE T, a 14-year-old and a potential gold medalist in the Southeast Asian Games. Just under 5.5 minutes to go. A long-range shot with the shot clock down to its final few seconds. Comfortable for THAWANRAT. ALWANI. VARISTHA. SINEENART turns over possession to Singapore, who really need to try and find a goal from somewhere. So that 4 minutes 46 seconds will disappear very, very quickly off the clock on halfway. Well, they've hit the frame again. Angeline Teo. And the space for the shot, but just couldn't quite guide it inside that top corner. Two number 10s tossing away, Melissa Ue and SAROCHA. It's bounced up off the surface of the water and hits the underside of the crossbar once again. Didn't cross the line that time, Eunice Fu able to gather. Did score one in the last quarter that was given as having crossed the line. Ue. GINA Ko going for the wide option once again, and the angle was tight. It was comfortable from THAWANRAT. They really haven't got anybody in that centre position that's really threatened Singapore. It's the most prolific position for goal scoring in water polo. This is where Thailand are looking to try and work the ball now. Well, they don't need to when they can score like that from 5 metres out, and the gold medal is very much homing into view now. VARISTHA fires in beyond Eunice Fu. Saw her opportunity. Melissa Uwe couldn't close her down quick enough that time, and precision shooting inside that post. Flicked the inside of the post. In fact, it was that close, and that reaction says it all. Captain leading by example. Thailand leading now by 5 goals to 1. Just hasn't been Singapore's day today. Never really got started. Managed to find the net just once. Angelina Teo with the only goal so far. Really is lightning striking twice for Singapore. Repeat of what happened to them back in 2015 in their opening 2 matches, as did Thailand. They went head to head in that final group game, and Thailand came out on top by 5 goals to 4. This one has been looking like a much more clear-cut victory for Daniele Ferri's side this time. Singapore will go back to the drawing board as they begin preparations for future tournaments. Southeast Asian Games in 2 years' time, of course, and they'll look to try and get back into things. But all credit to Thailand, the young players that are put together by the coach, who admits he doesn't have a great pool of players to draw from to try and build a water polo team, but the ones he has found have been exceptionally good indeed. Chance here for a late goal for Singapore, but it's not going to go in, and just about summing up their day as THAWANRAT manages to get back and gather the ball before it crosses the line. Long-range effort from Wu Zhe Kang. Flicked off the inside of the post. And we're inside the final minute then to decide the destination of the gold medal. Round robin format of the women's water polo. Interesting to hear the thoughts of the Singapore coach Lee Se Meng after this one. Ferry's influence in the Thai team has seen a couple of players head off to play in the lower leagues of women's water polo in Italy. Water polo is so big, of course, in Europe. Italy, one of the strong nations, Olympic gold medal winners in previous years, and his influence has transferred over to the Thai team, also in charge of the men's team as well. So 38 seconds to go, could be the final chance here for Thailand to further increase their advantage. Singapore might get one chance at just adding a little bit of respectability to the scoreline. Eunice Fu looking for options available to her up ahead. Gina Ko will start wide once again. Long range ball goes down, but the hooter goes to bring us to the end of the game, and Thailand claim the gold medal. They took their time, they had to be patient, but in fairness, Singapore on the day weren't at their best, and I'm sure the coach will acknowledge that after the match. But it's Thailand that take the gold medal for the second year running, having beaten Singapore in the final group game, the deciding match in the round robin. Indonesia and Malaysia will battle it out for the bronze medal in just a few minutes' time. But Singapore 1, Thailand 5, not the score Singapore were looking for, but Thailand win all three matches, and this young side with the average age of about 19 put together by Daniela Ferry has been triumphant once again. And in around an hour or so's time they will collect their gold medals. Disappointment for Singapore, but it just wasn't to be their day today. Contrasting emotions from the gold medal winners. Just normally winning a silver medal, you'd be very delighted with that, but to lose out on the gold in such a manner will take a while to sink in. But I'm sure that the Singapore players, once they get on the podium to receive their silver medals, will be back to their usual smiling selves. Thailand acknowledging the cheers of the crowd, and similarly for Singapore as well in defeat. But having won the gold medal in 2015, that man's done it again. Daniela Ferry, second successive Southeast Asian Games gold medal for his Thailand team. He still has a chance of guiding the men to gold medal as well. Confirmation of the way the scoring went. Just that one goal in the second quarter for Singapore, scored by Angelina Teo. But it was the third quarter that really put Thailand in control. And by the time the fourth quarter came, that goal was just a mere topping on the victory. Confirmation of the gold medal going Thailand's way. Singapore takes silver, and the winners between Indonesia and Malaysia will take the bronze. A draw would be enough for the Indonesians, as they have a better goal difference than the host nation down at the bottom of the group there. But congratulations to Thailand and their gold. Singapore put up a brave showing, but it wasn't to be on the day. It's a silver medal for them, and the medal ceremony will be a little bit later on.